Yo guys, and welcome to another video on my channel, and in today's video we are gonna be talking about the pre-team of the season market crash. Before we get into the rest of this video, I want to really quickly say that this is all based on my opinion and on my knowledge, and I'm pretty sure that all of this is pretty much true because there are multiple ways of looking at the FIFA 17 market. But I don't think that anything which I say is wrong in this video, but if so, then please correct me down below, and also let me know how you think the market crash has been happening, and then we can get into the rest of the video with you knowing that I'm not saying this, all of this is necessarily true or confirmed by EA or anyone else. So I hope you guys enjoyed that overdramatic intro that I just made, but let's get into the actual video. We're gonna be taking it more serious from this point on, and we're gonna be starting talk about a few certain things. The first thing that we have to talk about is supply and demand. Now if we get into supply and demand, we need a little picture to explain what I'm talking about. So I've got a little picture on the screen right now. We can see we have a bit of an axis with two lines in it. On the y-axis we have the price. So this is talking about one certain player's price, supply and demand. And then on the bottom axis, so the x-axis, we have the quantity. Now what normally would happen in the market is that we have a certain amount of supply and suppliers and a certain amount of consumers who have a kind of a demand. Now what you're going to see is on the left hand side, when there's a very low quantity, there is a low price, and that's reasoning it the wrong way around, but it will make more sense later in the video. And at a low quantity we have a very high demand of or very high price of demand. Now why is this the case? Just imagine this. You have a gaming console on the market. The most people want to pay as low as possible. So what you can see on the right hand side, when the demand is very low in price, so it's at the bottom right, there's a lot of quantity, so there's a lot of demand for that price, so it gets very low onto the right hand side. So if we turn this the other way around, when there's a high price for let's say we were talking about Martial right here, so if there's a very high price for Anthony Martial on the market, there's going to be less demand because people don't want to be paying high prices. But the supply is going to be very high when there is a high price. Why? Because if you're selling something, you want to get as much money for it. That's basically basic economics. You always want to earn as much money and to spend the least amount of money. But you can see when the price is very low, there's a very low quantity of supply. So these lines have an intersection point because, of course, the more the price drops, the more demand there is, and there's more supply as the price is getting higher. Now at some point they're going to intersect. Now this is a bit of a balance. This is the price where the players are most of the time going to be at, and of course there are people on the market of FIFA 17. They're sometimes dropping their prices lower, and that's why you see them go really quickly off the market because there's more demand. But there are also people who play their or put their cards for a very high price on the market, and they basically won't sell because there is no demand for it, because there is an option to buy them for less. And in basic economics, people are going to buy it for less, except if you're lazy. Of course, we do have lazy buyers, but we're going to exclude those kind of things because they're exceptions to this rule. But as we can see now, we have a balance. Now this balance is going to change during a market crash. And you might be asking why? Well, that's what we're going to be explaining in this video. So basically, when you have a supply and a demand, and a market is going to crash on FIFA, in FIFA 17 this case, because real life economics are very applicable to the FIFA 17 market. So that's how we're going to be doing it today, but let's just get on with it. If we have a market crash, or in this case, let's just start from the beginning. Everybody knows team of the season is coming. Most of the people at least. Most of the people know team of the season is coming. What's going to be happening? Lots of people want to have as much coins because, well, we know from previous years the market is gonna drop in, or players are gonna drop in price massively because people are getting prepared for team of the season. So what's gonna happen is a lot of people are gonna be selling their players. But what happens when lots of people are going to be selling their players, their price is going to drop because they are undercutting each and every time. Now at the same time, the demand is going to change. So we've already seen a change in supply. Now we're going to see a change in demand. Now because Team of Season is going to come and people are preparing themselves, they don't want to risk to lose any more coins by buying players that might drop down in value. So what's going to happen, there are also going to be less people buying these players, which means that if the supplier wants to sell his item, he's got to drop even more than just 1,000 coins under the original price of the player. Which means that the balance that we're seeing right here is going to drop very, very low. Now this means that at some point they are going to be at a steady price, but it's going to drop over time. Which means that the prices are coming down. Now what's going to happen is that lots of these players are going to be on the market, sitting in people's clubs. They're not doing anything. So this is basically the basics of how the market is dropping. People know they're going to be Team of the Season or special packs. During special or during big events in FIFA where we get special packs, player prices drop. So we prepare ourselves to risk not losing any money. Which is why we're going to be undercutting our player prices. Player price is going to drop down. And nobody wants to buy these players. So we have to drop our players' prices even lower so that maybe someone wants to buy it. Which means that the balance price is going to be very, very low before you're able to sell your players. Now, if you check FUBBin, you can see that the market crash has really happened. If you look at lots of players, you can see in the last few days on their daily graphs, that graph has dropped massively. If we just take an example on screen right now, we can, for example, take Ousmane Dembele. We'll take his 85 inform, who is now 176k. On the 21st of April, and I'm talking about the PlayStation market by the way, because, well, I'm on PlayStation, so I'm automatically take the PlayStation market as an example. On the 21st of April, he was 240k, as you can see on the screen right now. Then, on the Monday, he went down to 167k, and during this weekend that just passed, we basically had the market crash come in big. Now player prices are getting steady again because that balance that was being created during the weekend has now been found. So the player prices don't really drop. People are going to be buying them again, so prices do go up a bit, then go down a bit, go up a bit, go down a bit. But on the Monday, on the Friday, 240k on PlayStation. On the Monday, he went down to 167,000 coins. Now that's where the market crash has happened. Now the next part of this video is gonna about how EA attacks the market. And why do we say attack? EA actually stimulates this progress of market prices going down a lot. People might be asking, why do we get the team of the group stages now when the group stages aren't even finished yet? We've still got the semi-final to go in the Champions League, still got the semi-final to go in the Europa League. Why do they do it now? There's a reason for it. They get to wipe coins off the market quick. And I mean quick. And for EA to wipe coins off the market is exceptional during just before Team of the Season. It means that less people are going to be able to afford Team of the Seasons. So more people need to be spending money on FIFA points to open packs to gain more coins. And that's what EA is all about, of course. We have to remember ourselves. EA is a business. They have to make their money. This is the prime time for them to make a market crash happen because they can make a shit ton of money during Team of the Season because of the market crash. So why wouldn't they stimulate a market crash when it makes them money? And that's very easy to explain. When we get this team in the group stages and also now the young player of the year and the player of the year. Now that might not be intentional because they can't control when they come out, but they did come out right before Team of Season because Team of Season is not long to come. It might be this Friday, it might be next week, might be the week after, but it's inside 3 weeks time. I can almost say with being 100% sure. But what happened EA dropped these special new SBCs. Now this year SBCs in the to have SBCs in the game makes it even easier for them because they can wipe off players off the market. Now some people say price is gonna go up and up, but I'm gonna say they're gonna go down. They stay I think quite far down because people think that because of these SBCs they can make money off these players, which they can, they definitely can, but that means that their prices are gonna be pretty stable. And you might say you need informs and stuff like that in these SBCs. We're getting inform packs every single week on Thursday for the people that get top 100 and elite. Look at the inform prices now, they're ridiculously low. Now that's of course because team of the season is yet to come. And team of the group stage does definitely push some player prices up that are necessary in SBCs. But those are normally normal gold players which are very, very easy to pack. And very easy to get back to a stable price because the 85, the 84s are now pretty pricey just because of the SBCs. Watch after the SBCs in the day they will go down to the price they were before Team of the Group stages come out. But the SBC also guarantees these special packs which make the player prices go down. And that's something which is not a bad thing in EA's kind of view. Because that just wipes coins off the market. Now that might not make sense because you're going to be paying less for these players. But they know people will be triggered into doing these SBCs. And it's very hard to make more money off these SBCs. Because player prices are coming down, down and down. It's the same with the marquee matchup inform packs. If you do them on the release, you are going to be guaranteeing yourself some profit. That's pretty much for sure. But when you do them a few days later, you're going to see that the prices have dropped. If you look at Futman again and look at, for example, Shaqiri, he was about 150k before the marquee matchup came out. Just after that, he went down to 90k. Few hours later, and also the inform guarantee packs dropped, he went down to 70k. He spent 70k throughout this entire week since Thursday. It's just mad how they influence the market with SBCs. Now that stimulates the players to drop in price because a mental thing is gonna, or a mental rule in economics is gonna say when one player or when one similar item drops in value a lot, players that or items that are very similar entities and very similar traits, so they have the same kind of they have the same reason to be there. So if you have an inform Shaqiri who's going to be cheap, then inform Mane, who is basically the same because he's a right winger from the Premier League who is very, very good. He also has to come down because Shaqiri can just replace him and everybody is going to swap to Shaqiri because he's much cheaper and he has the same kind of similarities. So there's no reason to buy that Mane. So that Mane card has to come down as well. And so do all the other players now that have a similarity to Mane. And that means that every OP Premier League player is going to go down. Which then again means every OP player in the game is going to go down. Which pretty much in the end means that every player in the game has to come down in price just because they have to drop one player in price. Or in this case a few players because of the marquee matchup guaranteed inform pack. Now this is the reasons why informs are, when you look at the overall picture, are a bit cheaper than normal. But then again, there are a lot of coins in this today's FIFA. So we can expect a bit higher prices than we're used to because through FUT Champions, EA have actually gotten more money into the game, or more coins into the game. Which means that more people are going to be buying cards at the market, which means player price is going to be going up. But during the market crash, people are losing coins, so team of the seasons are going to be very hard to achieve. Now, you might say they become very, very cheap at some point. But the elite team of the seasons aren't going to be cheap because EA probably know what they are doing. They're trying to make money. So EA, big ups to them because through SBCs, through special packs just before team of the season right now, or special SBCs, they've wiped coins off the market and player price have to come down. Because otherwise nobody can afford them, which means that they are gonna make a lot of money during team of the season. That's basically how EA do it. That might not be 100% true, that might not be 100% how EA actually think about doing it. But in theory, this all applies to the market. This is again basic economics. And yeah, it's applicable to everything in FIFA 17. basic economics. So that's how we can explain EA's behavior in the FIFA 17 market. Now, one more thing which really affects the market really, really badly, or some people call this a positive thing as well, because you're actually able to make a lot of money during a market crash if you know how to deal with it. But the FIFA community has a big effect on the market. Now you might be asking why. Everybody that plays FIFA is the FIFA community. What I mean are the YouTubers, the players, or the people that have lots of followers on Twitter. Just the people that have lots of influence, or know a lot of people that they can get their voice to, they can be heard, they can have some influence. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing by them, because they're basically protecting us, or trying to protect us from losing lots of coins. Because what have lots of YouTubers, tweeters, streamers, people on Instagram, all sorts of social media have done? They've told us to tell all our players that we don't necessarily want to keep. Why? We know that they're going to be dropping in price, but because of the stimulants from them, they've gone down even more. Now, it would have probably happened somehow, some way, and someone is going to be sharing it, because we all know it's going to be happening. But the people that are on YouTube, the big YouTubers, the big streamers, the big guys on Twitter, they generally have more FIFA knowledge because they've been around for a long time. They've seen this happen multiple times. So when they predict the market to crash, it's basically a guarantee it's going to crash. So people instantly believe that it's going to crash. So they have taken them word for guaranteed, sold all their plays. And what we explained in the first section of this video, where we're talking about supply and demand. Higher supply means lower prices, and the demand is also going to go down because people are thinking, okay, so he said I can't sell my players anymore. Surely, and that's basic logic, I shouldn't be buying players as well, because I need to sell them at some point, except if I'm going to keep them throughout the entirety of this FIFA 17 installment, which most people don't do. Most people like to change the team, so player prices are going to be stimulated to go down even more. So that's basically how the market crash has happened so far. And during Team of Season with special packs, lots of players are going to be packed. So players' prices are going down even more, but we can talk about a market crash, but it's more of a logical thing to happen rather than a crash that's been influenced by just basic economics applied to the FIFA 17 market. So if you enjoyed this video, then please drop a like and subscribe. If you want me to explain anything further in the comments down below, then please don't forget to drop a comment or contact me on Twitter. My Twitter is in the description down below as well. But once again, if you enjoyed this video and now understand the market crash even better than you already did, then don't forget to drop a like and subscribe. And I will see you in the next video.